welcome back to the podcast. This is the podcast for our family's true tales of the supernatural. I gotta say, right before the last recording of the previous podcast, we had a little bit more paranormal activity in our house, but I might be saving that for one of the future seasons of the show. Some family members saw some interesting things in the house. I think it was some kind of a ball of light that was traveling through our house or something like that. Let's go over some more questions that some people might have about the show. Here's a question. Do you ever use sage or do sage smudgings? Well, I used to do sage smudgings when I noticed paranormal activity or when I would see the activity increase. I don't use it as much any longer though. I think some ghosts are only people that are feeling nostalgic and want to visit places where they lived or places that are familiar to them. I've learned that if I push them away with a sage smudging, it might be a bit rude on my part. If the spirits aren't being disruptive or destructive, then I don't need to act in a similar way toward them. Sometimes I do get startled and want to grab my sage, but I wonder if it's needed or if I'm too jumpy or too inhospitable. I used sage quickly in the past because I didn't want any disruptive spirits following me home. I now use sage on rare occasion on myself to keep things from attaching themselves to me. So I just get the smoke all over me. I don't like to smudge a whole house unless it's absolutely necessary. I saw a person use sage on themselves on occasion. They did this by first getting the smoke around their feet, then their stomach, then around their head and shoulders, and then around the stomach and kidneys. They do this for a few reasons. Here's the reasons they gave. 1, it grounds themselves at their feet. And then 2, the stomach for health of the body. Then 3, the head and shoulders to protect the mind and mental health and promote good thinking. And finally, number 4, you go back around the stomach and kidneys again, like you're tying everything in a knot to seal up the goodness inside of you. I saw someone do that whole procedure for people on a show one time, and I think it works fairly well from what I've seen, so that's what I do. Although, when I'm renovating houses, I keep a sage bundle with me in my lunchbox, which is basically a small cooler. I keep the sage bundle with me in case of emergency. Yet I rarely use it anymore. I really no longer consider all paranormal activity to be an emergency. When I was a bit younger, I considered all paranormal activity to be an emergency, but I don't think that way anymore. Let's go on to the next question. Have you ever caught any of the activity in pictures or videos? Well, unfortunately no. I haven't caught anything on camera or in audio recordings because I don't own any equipment like that. I usually work with my hands when I'm renovating houses, so I don't have my phone handy either. It's usually difficult to get my phone out of my pocket as well, especially when I'm working on stuff. I don't have the spare cash to buy high quality equipment like that either, so I just don't have it. In recent years, most of the ghosts that I've seen have moved so fast that I couldn't get my phone out fast enough. So I couldn't get pictures or video or anything like that. I can't afford a good phone with good internet either, at least not at this time. I'm hoping that I get my YouTube channel monetized so I can get the money to get some quality equipment. I'd like to wire up my house with video cameras as well. I'd also like to get some equipment to possibly do my own paranormal investigations. But I'd have to say that's mostly in the future for now. I don't have the spare cash for that sort of thing. Let's go to the next question. Has any of the activity ever caused physical harm or damage to property? That's a good question. I don't think I recall ever getting harmed physically, although I have been startled and had stuff thrown onto the floor. I've put some of that stuff in some of the previous episodes in the early part of season 1. I've seen full body apparitions in my own house on multiple occasions. I also made one episode where I heard unexplained noises almost the whole night after I got home from work until the time I went to sleep. There were doors opening and closing, or the sounds of doors opening and closing, sounds of footsteps, whispering, disembodied voices, and even a voice that called me by name. I don't think I've ever been physically harmed, though, not, at least not that I can recall. I'd be very thankful for that as well. Here's the next question. Did any of this stuff ever follow you home, or have you ever seen any paranormal activity in your house? Well, yeah, a lot of it has been in my house, as I've documented in season 1 of the show. Although, as far as following home, I'm not sure. I have stuff happening at my house sometimes, but I suspect it's the previous residents. So I don't think any paranormal stuff has followed me home, although I suspect that it's possible that some things may have followed me home and increased the activity in the house for a while. Yet I don't think those things were destructive or malicious. I really don't think that I've seen any of that sort of severely destructive things follow me home, and I'm really grateful for that as well. Let's go to the next question. Can you give us any hints as to what's coming in the next season of the show? Well, I have plenty more eerie and ghostly stories to share, and I talk about some other things in my home where I live, some of the other stuff that's happened in where I live too. I started to see more apparitions in my house where I live. I've also seen some other strange things that are difficult for me to put into words and describe it. I'll also be sharing a few strange dreams that I've had. Those dreams seem to be more than just mere dreams. You'll know it when those episodes come out. In some of those dreams, I saw some relatives and friends, and I can also say that at least one of those dreams gave an accurate prediction of a relative's death and passing away. I'm also going to be talking about some nightmares I had, some of which were demonic nightmares, and another demonic nightmare that a relative of mine had. The demonic nightmares I had made me feel like I was temporarily possessed and I wasn't able to control myself while I was in the dream. That was a bit scary and unnerving. It gives me the chills just thinking about it, so I think I'd like to go to the next question. The next question is, will you ever do any shows on other types of paranormal stuff like UFOs? I'd like to do some shows on that in the future, and one of those shows should be coming up soon. I'll likely do a lot more episodes about ghostly stuff at the end of the season 1 or for most of season 2. Who knows? You never know, though. I might sneak in a few things about UFOs. As a matter of fact, here's a hint. I have an inside track on one person who saw some things in the sky. I also have seen a person who knows more about UFOs than what seems like most people on the planet. I'll get into some more of that stuff if we make it to season 3 of the show. So if you want more of that type of shows about those things, or if you want a season 3 of the show, then click the like button and click subscribe to follow the show. If I get up to at least 100 likes, I'll probably be going into those seasons soon. If you folks have any other reasonable questions or comments, feel free to put them in the comments section below. Let me know your thoughts on things. I think this is about all we have time for at the moment, so I'll end the show here and get back to making my next video. I hope to talk to you again soon. So for now, see you later.